understand, because in my profession as a lawyer, it's more natural to me. And also, if I stand, my speech will be a little less, so you won't get so bored. Okay? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Never before have I been in the company of so many Italians, and it's been so quiet. Perhaps it's because I'm used to working with the younger generation. I'm going to begin with a story, a love story. If you follow it very carefully, you'll understand the culture element. Many, many years ago, in Italy, a young girl from Rome met a young man from Naples, and they fell very, very deeply in love. The young woman from Rome went back to her father and said, "Papi, Papi, I've met the most wonderful man. I'm in love with him and I want to marry him." And her father, naturally, wanted to inquire about this young man. As soon as she advised him he was from Naples, her father stopped her there. "Basta. Enough. I've heard enough. I want to hear no more." And he forbid that young lady to have anything to do with the young man from Naples. The young lady, very determined, very much in love, defied her father, went back to the young man, and they ran away, eloped, and got married. She returned to her father back in Rome, very proud, very defiant, and showed her father the wedding ring. "Look, Papi, Papi." But Papi was having none of it. He threw her out of the house, told her she was no longer his daughter, and that he wanted nothing more to do with her. That young lady was my great-grandmother, and with my great-grandfather, they went to England. There, my Italian connection, now the English connection. In England, they settled. They were very happy, exceedingly poor to begin with, and found life very difficult as two Italians in what was then not so multicultural England. However, their love saw them through. They worked very, very hard and became very, very successful, building first cafes, bars, a restaurant business, and bringing Italian ice cream to England. Well, you can't go wrong there, can you? A few years later, they set sail once more for America, where they settled, and once again were very, very successful. Having endured the not so multicultural society of England, they did well in America, but then of course the Depression came. So once that set in, they set sail back for England, and that's where they made their home, had their 5 children, one of whom was of course my grandfather. They've always felt that their roots were of course in Italy. And in the early days, it was very difficult to settle in England. It was not the multicultural society it is today, not like Malta becoming today. I feel that I have a little bit of Italian in me. When I go back to Italy, I feel very at home. I love the food. I love the people. I too, having been brought up in England, and having commenced my work there, a few years later, found myself in very much the same position as my great-grandmother. I'd married a Maltese man in England, and he too wanted to come back to Malta, to the place of his birth. So I had to make decisions a little bit like my great-grandmother. But I think it has been so much more easy for me. Malta today is not the England that my great-grandparents settled in. It's a multicultural, diverse society, and is becoming so each and every day. I
first came here 27 years ago, and the Malta then is very different to the Malta today. I understand perhaps today you people have had one or two problems, but I can stand here and say, hand on heart, that Maltese hospitality knows no bounds. A Maltese person, when they open up their heart to you, they really open up their heart to you. I've taken this now to be my second home. England, of course, will always be my first home, and I work in America extensively. But Malta, for me, has become a place where I can live, and I can work, and I can have no fear that I really feel quite at home here. And I know students coming to Malta to learn English will have that same feeling. The hospitality of the Maltese Islands knows no bounds. The diversity which you find here, you just have to look in any area of Malta and you will see Chinese, Russians, Libyans, all walks of life, and these are not the only nationalities, living just as we do in London, cheek by jowl, enjoying each other's company, enjoying life, working, playing, having fun, and in a culture where tolerance really is the key word. Multicultural societies need two things. They need, first, the country giving that hospitality, giving that tolerance, allowing people to come to their shores and work and live in peace, knowing, as Dr. Yin said earlier, that they won't be labelled, they won't be stigmatised because they are not Maltese. They will be accepted. They each have something to bring to the island. We're all different. Or are we? We all need air to breathe. We all have to go to the bathroom in the morning. We all need water, food. If we cut ourselves, we bleed. So, fundamentally, yes, we're all the same, but all a little bit different. And it's all we have to do is accept that we are that. Different, but the same. And yes, we can live alongside each other, and in peace and harmony. But what it takes is a nation to extend hospitality and accept people to its shores. And a person coming onto that shore, that island, into that country, to accept that things are a little bit different, that you might be treated a little bit differently, but educate each other. We learn from one another. I find it quite easy to live here, do my work here. Yes, I do jet back to the UK very frequently. But I can assure you, for anyone coming here, be it to live, to work, to receive an education, learning English, you really, really could be in a better place. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.